Vols prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
I want to send a special shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at the Talkin VAWLS Network on YouTube. I also want to ask y'all to go smash that like button and subscribe to their channel on YouTube. Go Big Orange.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and we are right around the corner from fall camp. We might as well go ahead and say it. It is football time in Tennessee. Josh Heupel and some of the other coaches will be meeting with the media tomorrow, and then fall camp officially starts on Wednesday. But I am so fired up. I dropped a video earlier today about Addison Nichols committing to Tennessee, what Josh Heupel is starting to build in recruiting. I encourage you to go check that out, but I'm just fired up, and I had to get back on here, drop another video because it is football time in Tennessee. I want to talk a little bit about the secondary, a position group that returns a ton of experience, but is it enough? Is experience enough? Is anybody in that group ready to step up, ready to break out? We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. But as always, do me a favor before we get rolling here, guys. Go below the video, click that little thumbs up. It takes you 2 seconds. It helps the channel. A lot of people watch these videos. We need more people hitting that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It does help. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. We're rolling through the Fall of the Vols series, kind of taking you from the firing of Philip Fulmer to hiring 5 coaches in 13 years. What went wrong? We're going through that whole process. The plan is to go live at the end of that video series. We're uploading new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. As we get to the end of that series, we're going to go live and we're going to get positive. We're going to talk about, we're going from the fall of the Vols to the rise of the Josh Heupel era. It's going to be a live stream. It's going to be a good time. I encourage you to check that out. But once we get rolling into the season, we're going to go live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and also Saturdays immediately following the game. Leave me a comment. Let me know. We got a lot of members to this channel. You can click that join button. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, but also we could do some fan call-in shows on an occasional Monday. Let me know if you would be interested in that. Leave a comment below. But let's get into it. Enough plugs, enough shilling. It is part of the YouTube game, but let's get into it. Let's talk about this article from 24/7 Sports. It's an article from Wes Rucker. I'm not going to go too in-depth here, but he's talking about how Alante Taylor feels prepared for leadership role at Tennessee. Again, this is Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. I'm not going to go through the whole article. I talked a little bit about this. It's going back to SEC Media Days and some of the things that Alante Taylor said, and then we're going to kind of get into the secondary a little bit. But it says, adversity is nothing new for University of Tennessee players of the past dozen-plus years. So Alante Taylor had been through some rough times. He initially committed to the Vols when Butch Jones was the head coach. He decommitted when Jones was fired. Jeremy Pruitt takes over the job and convinced Taylor to recommit to his home state's flagship university. Pruitt's teams showed promise before things fell apart during the COVID era, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, Alante Taylor has been through the ringer. And one of you guys left a comment, may have been earlier today, talking about, what this team has been through and that this team deserves, these seniors deserve to play a bowl game. And Alante Taylor is one of those guys. He's one of those guys that has been through the ringer. He deserves success. He's a guy that has truly given his all for Tennessee. He stepped up. He seems to be a leader, but is he ready to break out? Is he ready to break out and be a playmaker? The article goes on to say here, at some point during all the madness, Taylor emerged as one of the most stable leaders in the Tennessee program. Things around Taylor were a mess, but the veteran corner from Little Manchester, home of the annual Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival, stepped up in a big way. In addition to his duties as a member of the Vol Leaders Academy, he was voted by his peers as a vice chair of the SEC Football Leadership Council, serving as a conduit of communication to the conference office on issues related to student-athlete experience and student-athlete wellness. I'm just going to leave that right there. I'm just going to let you guys look Alante Taylor in the eyes as we kind of go through this secondary. Take nothing away from Alante Taylor as a man. I love everything he had to say at SEC Media Days. Well-spoken. He does seem to be a leader. This football team needs somebody to step up and be a playmaker, a difference maker, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We talk about Josh Heupel, this up-tempo offense, this fast-paced offense, how they're going to go score points. This Tim Banks defense needs to be aggressive. They need to force turnovers. That's something that this football program struggled with last season under Jeremy Pruitt. Tim Banks needs some playmakers. He needs some difference makers. This team, this football team, the secondary, they're returning everybody other than Bryce Thompson and Keyshawn Lawrence. And honestly, I think both of those guys could have contributed to this football team this year. Bryce Thompson, I think he could have helped his cause with another year. You know, he could have built up his draft status. He got signed by the Saints, but he went undrafted. And I think another year of football would have done a lot for his draft status. And then on the flip side of that, Keyshawn Lawrence, I just felt like he never really got a fair shake at Tennessee. But that's in the past. We're going to look ahead to the future. I just want to say, you know, when we talk about the importance of some of these seniors like Alante Taylor, look at Bryce Thompson. Can you really blame Bryce Thompson for going to the NFL? I can't. I think he would have benefited from coming back, but what these guys have been through, like the article there just said, you know, Alante Taylor commits to one coach. That coach gets fired. Another coach convinces him, hey, stay in state, come to Tennessee. And then that coach gets fired. But he's going to stick around. He's going to stick around for the Josh Heupel era. That's a kid that's playing for the T. And I made a video about just that and Alante Taylor, his leadership role, all that. But again, we need playmakers. Let's talk about the safeties. Tennessee returns both starting safeties in Trayvon Flowers, Jalen McCullough. They also return Theo Jackson, who I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see him in that nickel position instead of safety, but all three guys have started and have played the safety position. But the problem, you know, these guys, they all have experience. But again, who's ready to break out? Who's ready to make a difference? I just don't get excited when I look at the safety position. And I hope they prove me wrong. I really, truly hope they prove me wrong. But if I'm, you know, I try to be real with you guys. I try to give my honest opinion, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, doesn't matter. You guys can disagree. That's fine. The safety position may concern me more than any other position on this defense. That includes, look at the attrition at linebacker, but the safety position really might be what concerns me the most. Move over to cornerback, and I can maybe start to buy in a little bit. I can get excited when we look at the cornerback position. You know, obviously we talked a lot about Alante Taylor, but also Kenneth George, Warren Burrell. All three of those guys started games last season. Tennessee also returns to Marion McDonald, Danico Slaughter. But the key piece for this, the key piece of this puzzle for Josh Heupel, for Tim Banks, more specifically Willie Martinez as the position group in the secondary, the position coach in the secondary, is who they added via the transfer portal. And that's Brandon Turnage, former four-star corner. You know, maybe he couldn't make an impact at Alabama. Maybe he couldn't get enough playing time at Alabama. But guess what? You can say what you want. Say what you want. He can make an impact at Tennessee. There are a lot of players, a lot of kids that may not be able to make an impact or get on the field at Alabama or Georgia, but they can come to Tennessee right now and contribute, not only contribute, but make a difference. It is what it is. It's the reality of the situation. It's where we are at as a program. That's why moving forward, the transfer portal is going to be crucial to Josh Heupel getting this thing back in the right direction, heading in the right direction, get back to where Tennessee belongs. And that's at the top of the SEC. But my hope is a guy like Brandon Turnage or even Kamal Hadden can come in and they can maybe push Alante Taylor, or they can maybe push Kenneth George, Warren Burrell. Iron sharpens iron. We've heard Josh Heupel talk about it. I love that Josh Heupel, when he's talking about the quarterbacks, he says somebody's got to earn it. You're not just going to get handed a position. You are going to have to earn it. And that goes for every single position group. Alante Taylor may be a leader. He may say and do all the things right. You got to earn your spot. Somebody in this secondary, somebody at the cornerback position has got to step up and be consistent. Because all three of those guys, when you're looking at the returners, when you're looking at Alante Taylor, you look at Warren Burrell, Kenneth George, all three of those guys have shined at times, but they've also looked lost at times. We need consistency, playmakers, difference makers. This secondary has 77 combined total starts. And yeah, I stole that number from VAWLS because they do great work, and I love those guys. 77 combined total starts. But somebody has got to step up and make a play. Somebody has got to step up and make a difference. There is talent on the defensive side of the ball. In the secondary, all three levels, secondary, linebackers, defensive line. They have some playmakers. Who wants it? Who's going to go make a difference? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the secondary. What position concerns you the most? The corners, the safeties. What do you think about Alante Taylor? Do you think he steps up? Do you think he can be consistent? What about Brandon Turnage? Does he earn a starting spot? What does your secondary look like? Give me the ones and the twos. Hit that comment section. This show is yours just as much as it is mine. If you want to help out the show, you can go to bonfire.com/store/talkingballs. Pick up all the official merchandise of the Talkin' Balls Network. As I have said, we will be rolling out a new t-shirt soon enough. New merchandise coming soon. But until then, we've got all the old school logo merch. We've got the state pride merchandise, all the good stuff. Go check it out, pick it up, show some love to this channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin' Balls Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like me, poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this innocent.